Welcome to the MPAC Zoomcast. That's what we're calling it until we come up with a better name. Hey, I'm Ed Kirchdoerffer, Chief Operating Officer at Mayo Performing Arts Center. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Zoomcast as we start the month of November. I can't believe it's November already. It's about 40 degrees out this morning as I record this. It was just like 80 degrees out a few days ago. It's crazy. The holiday season's right around the corner, and we've got some great programming for the holiday season. Check it out on mayoarts.org. But today we're going to be talking all things Pure Prairie League. Pure Prairie League is part of the Legends of Country Music concert that we have on Saturday, November 18th. They'll be performing with Firefall and Richie Furay. And we're going to be joined by Mike Reilly, the longtime bassist and band manager of Pure Prairie League, in just a few short minutes. A couple of notes to begin with. We're going on sale with Tracy Morgan, who's coming on February 3rd, and Get the Lead Out coming on February 9th. And November 12th is just around the corner. In our free event, Theater of Light will be happening on Sunday, November 12th at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we'll be talking more about this event. It's going to be going on right adjacent to the theater here at the Vail Mansion lawn. And our next Zoomcast will be talking all things Theater of Light. Saturday, November 18th, MPAC presents Legends of Country Music featuring Firefall, Richie Furay, and Pure Prairie League. Pure Prairie League has been making its unique brand of country rock since the late 1960s with hits like Amie, Let Me Love You Tonight, and Still Right Here in Your Heart. Pure Prairie League's been part of the pop music fabric for over 5 decades. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Mike Reilly from Pure Prairie League.
Hey everybody, it's me, Tracy Turnblad from Hairspray. Broadway's Tony Award-winning Best Musical is back, featuring songs that are fresh, winning, and tuneful. Come see the mega hit about a girl from 1960s Baltimore, me, who dares to dream big and changes the world. Don't miss the warm-hearted musical comedy, Hairspray.
Coming to Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, January 26th and 27th. For tickets, visit mayoarts.org.
Back on the Zoomcast, Ed Kirchdoerffer, Chief Operating Officer here at MPAC, joined by Mike Reilly, former bass player of Pure Prairie League, now the manager of the band. Mike, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Ed.
So you've been associated with Pure Prairie League for how long?
Well, since 1972. I've known them since they started in '69, but I joined the band officially in 1972 for the second album, and I've been there ever since. And then I finally retired from touring about a year and a half ago.
And did you have any sense back in 1972 that in the year 2023, you would still be talking about being part of Pure Prairie League?
Nobody, when they're 20 years old, has any sense of anything that's going to be happening 50 years later. But you know, I mean, it became, you know, it was a labor of love that became a life's work. And I'm proud of my career with the band, and I'm proud of the band's career. And it's, you know, once again, it's just it's a blessing and a wonderful thing.
Tell us a little about the evolution of the band. What were the band's influences musically, and how did the band grow from the time you joined, let's say, through its most popular years, which I would say were probably, you know, in terms of hits, probably in the 70s and the 80s?
The band started in southeastern Ohio around Waverly and Chillicothe, and I grew up, and the piano player and the drummer that were in the band forever, we all grew up in northern Kentucky. So we had the same musical influences. We had the rock and roll from Ohio. We had the blues and country from Lonnie Mack from Indiana. We you know, we had the bluegrass music and the country music from Kentucky, where we all grew up, and we, you know, we grew up listening to the Grand Ole Opry and things like that, and it was just a natural influence for us to, because in the 60s you're playing rock and roll and you're doing Beatles covers and everything like that. You know, you take these influences and you incorporate them into the original music you're trying to make, and you know, and see what comes up with. And that's, you know, that's how Pure Prairie League has evolved over the years. By using those influences and, you know, paying some homage at times, but we decided early on we're going to keep expanding the parameters of the band. In other words, the first two albums were not going to be what defined the band, because that's sort of that kind of puts a finite aspect to it. And we didn't plan on being that finite. We wanted to stick around for a while. So once again, 53 years later, here we are, and getting ready to, we're in the studio doing a new record. We're out on tour, playing great shows, and it's just a blast.
Talk about having so many different influences and doing and musically, stylistically, reaching out in different areas. Did you have to fight radio stations that wanted to categorize you in a specific area?
Radio stations and record company personnel.
Mm-hmm.
The two biggest entities that needed to categorize. And how do you put your finger on something like that that's ephemeral? It's it's like trying to all the metaphors, but the radio stations, when the record companies would pitch us, they would go, well, you guys are too country for rock radio and you're too rock for country radio. What do we do with you? Well, it's like, maybe send us to another label. But we were lucky because in the 70s, we started playing a lot of colleges, and college radio picked up on Prairie League from doing all those shows. We were doing 275 college shows a year. So college radio was really instrumental in breaking the band. And plus, doing touring 9 months out of the year solid. We got to see a lot of people in a lot of places. We've been to every state in the union at least a dozen times and played every college pretty much that there is to play.
Well, I saw you at Marietta College in Marietta, Ohio.
Sure.
Back in 1980. I think it was, I was trying to figure it out last night. I think it was 82 or 83. Came and played the Van Johnson Fieldhouse. I remember Prairie League came there, and here I am, East Coast boy, Jersey raised, into British New Wave and everything. I really enjoyed it. It's like a different experience for me to really feel like to experience Prairie League live, and to have so many great songs that have just been the soundtrack of a lot of people's lives over the years. How does that feel to know that your music means so much to people and continues to mean so much to people after all these years? It's,
that's what makes me consider myself a musician and an artist, as opposed to just, everyday Joe with a guitar. It's the fact that it's touched people's lives, and people appreciate what we do live and on record. It's just an amazing thing. We're all put here to do something. And I feel that, we've made a significant contribution individually and as an entity to whatever you want to call it, history, music history, just people's lives. And they still come to see us. It blows my mind.
We're talking to Mike Reilly, former bassist of Prairie League, now the manager of the band Prairie League, coming to MPAC on November 18th as part of the Legends of Country Music Tour with Firefall and Richie Furay. There are still tickets available, mayoarts.org. How, I know you said that you personally only do a few dates a year with the band. How and aside from touring at a younger age versus an older age, have you seen touring change over the years for a band like yours?
Well, we back in the 70s and 80s, it was always on the bus. We'd have all 6 guys plus our crew on the bus, and our equipment down in the bays below, or we'd carry a trailer or whatever. Now, these days, the equipment is basically supplied from a backline rental company, which there are a million of now. And we travel mostly by airplane and rent a car. So it's a fly drive situation, because we only do weekends pretty much throughout the year. So it's easier for us just to fly, rent a Suburban, pack our guitars and our suitcases in there, and head for the gig.
How many people have been part of Pure Prairie League over the years? You get any?
53.
53.
53 years, 53 members.
Wow. And have there been any noted alumni from the band that have gone on to other things?
And not really. I mean, Vince Gill, what's he doing?
Oh yeah.
We've been very lucky to get people in the band when we needed them that were all, number one, they were fans of the music, and number two, they were really good, nice guys. And those were the two main criteria for hiring anybody into Pure Prairie League was, first of all, we got to be able to get along. And second of all, you have to contribute. So everybody that's been in the band over the years, like Vince, Gary Burr, who's a country music hall of fame songwriter, the Goshorn brothers from Cincinnati, who are, locally, even regionally famous. Joel Rosenblatt played drums with us for a while. He was a jazz player, but he played with Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Spyro Gyra for years. We've had some serious alumni in the band, and they've all brought something to the table, which is the most important thing to me.
Now, the current version, you said, of the band working on a new record?
Yes, we are.
When's that? Tell us a little about that and when that we might see that.
We're about halfway through. We've got most of the basic tracks done, and we're working on overdubs right now. And then we'll do the vocals, and I'll take it in and mix it and get it out there. Probably sometime, hopefully early next year. It'll be on 8-track and cassette, probably vinyl. Because people like to read the liner notes.
Yeah. Liner notes. I loved reading liner notes. I think when I was a teenager, I would spend hours reading liner notes, which doesn't say much to me as a teenager, but what can you do?
Well, that's one of the reasons that we had Sad Luke, our cowboy mascot, for all these years and all these albums. It's like people love to sit there and look at the record and look at the jacket, listen to the music, and they could see little things in the album cover art that maybe had something to do with the songs on the record, and then they would turn it over and read the back. We always tried to get the lyrics printed on the inside sleeve, so it gives them something to read and to hold on to. It's sort of the difference between an audio book or an actual book that you're sitting there reading. I think the experience of reading a novel is just so much different than having the technological ease of listening to an audio book, which I have hundreds of, by the way.
So what can attendees expect on the 18th from Pure Prairie League? What will you be doing that night?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to be doing we do the hits and the misses because that's what everybody wants to hear, but we also do a lot of deeper cuts that people haven't heard for years and that we haven't played for years. Songs like Call Me, Tell Me, which we recorded in 72 and never played live until last year. Angel Number 9, things like that, Early Morning Riser, but then stuff from the Two Lane Highway albums, from the Vince Gill era, Still Right Here in My Heart and Let Me Love You Tonight and things like that. So I know the Pure Prairie is going to get up there and throw down hard. And Firefall's with their new bass player, they're doing a great job and they sound terrific. And Richie's Richie, he's a legend. And it's one of the guys that we all grew up listening to.
Sure.
So it's going to be a barn burner. And the Mayo is such a beautiful venue that we're really looking forward to having a big time.
I think we've had you 2 previous times to this.
That's correct. That's correct.
Time I've been here, and then they've always been great shows. Mike, we look forward to the 18th. It's Legends of Country Rock with Pure Prairie League, Firefall, and Richie Furay. Tickets at mayoarts.org. Mike Reilly, thank you for spending a few minutes with us today, and we will see you at the theater soon.
Can't wait. Thanks a million, Ed. We appreciate it.
That was my conversation with Mike Reilly from Pure Prairie League. That's the Zoomcast for today. If you want information on that show or any other performance coming up, please check our website out at mayoarts.org, and we'll see you at the theater soon.